Good morning, everybody. Well, today is the day. The World Cup, the 1975 Cricket World Cup final between the West Indies and Australia at Lords was played today. A tremendous occasion, fighting for this trophy. Who would lift this World Cup trophy? Would it be Clive Lloyd or would it be Ian Chappell? Well, to start off with, Australia won the toss on a normal pitch not in overcast conditions, in really sunny conditions. It was around 22, 23 degrees. They elected to bowl first, thinking that Lords obviously has had average scores in the World Cup in the past, and they took a gamble thinking that the pitch would probably stay the same and they could chase runs down. And they said West Indies, basically, Ian Chappell said West Indies have been very good chasing throughout this tournament and had only batted once first in this World Cup. They did score 317 for 7 at Birmingham, though. And so Australia won the toss and elected to bowl first on a normal pitch, thinking that they could get early wickets. And this was the outcome of what was a wonderfully entertaining game. The crowd at Lords, the 30,000 people at Lords, certainly got their money's worth. But let's have a look at the tale of the match first, as you can see. Now, I mean, look at that. At one stage, they were 98 for 5. They got off to a sensational start, Australia. Roy Fredericks out for 7, 13 for... There was always something in it for the bowlers on this pitch. 13 for Gordon Greenwich, 12 for Rowan Canai, 14 for Clive Lloyd, who really has had a desperately disappointing tournament. Kuricharan, once again, got off to a good start, but then got out. And at 98 for 5, everyone was thinking they could get rolled over for about 180 here. But a wonderful 7th wicket partnership of 113 between Keith Boyce and Vivian Richards. Keith Boyce hit 38 or 66 deliveries. He played the anchor role while Vivian Richards just went absolutely ballistic. The first 100 by a West Indian batsman in World Cup cricket. 101 off just 70 deliveries. Remember, he hit, 96 off 82 deliveries in the match against Kenya, the only other time West Indies batted first in this tournament. And then one of the great innings, if not the best innings of the competition in my eyes, considering the pressure he would have been under when it was 98 for 5. 29 off 28 deliveries for Bernard Julien, 14, he was 29 not out, 14 off 14 deliveries for Derek Murray, and 6 not out for Van Burn Holder. 291 for 8 from their 50 overs, a superb effort from the West Indies on a pitch that was quite tricky. Medium pacers, 33 for 0 for Greg Blewett, 23 for 0 for Doug Waters, 44 for 1 for Jeff Thompson. Moved on to 16 wickets in the tournament, Max Walker, but he got whacked for 71 runs. 19 wickets in the tournament for Dennis Lillee, 1 for 55, was expensive. Brilliant bowling figures from Gary Gilmore, 4 for 48. 10 wickets in his last 2 matches. He was absolutely sensational. Australia's response was, well, everything they just hit went to a fielder. The West Indies catching today was absolutely sensational, and this sort of sums up Australia's tournament. Ever since they got rolled out for 192 up in Manchester against England, their batting has not been consistent at all. 31 for Alan Turner, 7 for Rick McCloskey, 46 for Ian Chappell. A miserable tournament for him. Look at that middle order though. 1, 7 and 4 for Greg Chappell, Doug Waters and Rod Marsh. 114 for 6. The game was over and you're thinking West Indies are going to win this by about 100 runs. It was a wonderful 7th wicket partnership of 93 runs between Gary Gilmore and Ross Edwards. But then when Ross Edwards was out on 207 for 7, the game was basically almost over. They just squeezed Australia in the end. 75 for Ross Edwards off just 69 deliveries. 40 off 58 for Gary Gilmore, who's proved to be a very good all-rounder in these last 2 games against England and West Indies. 8 for Max Walker. 21 for Jeff Thompson, and 16 not out off just 18 deliveries for Dennis Lillee. They showed a lot of character, but in the end, they just fell short. 274 all out in 49.3 overs. They were bowled out with just 3 balls remaining. Good fight with Australia, but West Indies were always in control. You felt always in control. Wonderful round bowling performance from all the bowlers there. 38 for 1 for Clive Lloyd. He's going to end up with a better bowling average than he had a batting average. We will see. 3 for 47 for Keith Boyce. 2 for 58 for Bernard Julien. He ended up for joint leading wicket taker in the tournament with 19 wickets. 2 for 68. It's expensive for Van Bernholder, but he's had a terrific tournament. And 2 for 46 for Andy Roberts. All their 4 bowlers are in the top 7 leading wicket takers in this World Cup. The match summary in the end: West Indies versus Australia at Lords. Australia won the toss to let their bowl on a normal pitch in sunny conditions. They outscored West Indies 98 for 5, but a stunning century from Vivian Richards, 101 of just 70 deliveries, saw West Indies make 291 for 8 from their 50 overs. Australia, in all sorts of problems, at 114 for 6. They showed a bit of fight. Gary Gilmore and Moss Edwards showed a bit of fight, but in the end, they were always behind the West Indies score. They were all out for 274 with 3 balls remaining. West Indies winning a wonderfully entertaining final by 17 runs. Man of the match, Vivian Richards, for his 101 of 70 deliveries, his second man of the match award. And player of the tournament for his 536 runs, an average of 134, which included 3 50s or 300s and 1 50, was in the end Glenn Turner of New Zealand. In what has been a bowler's tournament, for him to get over 500 runs was absolutely sensational. There was no question that Glenn Turner should win player of the tournament. We'll go have a look at the averages and the hit and miss players of this tournament, but let's just confirm that the West Indies are the world champions of the 1975 Cricket World Cup. It has been an absolute wonderful tournament here in England, and thus ends the tournament. So the World Cup is over, and now we're going to have a look at which players were hit, which players were missed. We're going to start off with the 5 Australian players to end the tournament. We're going to double confirm a few things as well. First of all, let's start off with Alan Turner, 383 runs at an average of 54 in 8 matches, which included 200s. I think he had an okay tournament, started off well. He hasn't, ever since those 2 opening games, though, he has struggled for runs, but you could say possibly hit. This guy next, Ian Chappell, has had an awful tournament, 145 runs at an average of 8 in 8 matches, at an average of 20. Very poor tournament, didn't even hit a 50. Captained the team pretty well, 14 average with a ball, but yeah, Ian Chappell had a very, very poor tournament. I'd say he was a miss in this tournament. He recovered quite well, Ross Edwards, for the last few matches. 209 runs in 5 innings, at an average of 52, which included 2 50s. I'd say he had a positive impact on the tournament. This guy definitely had a positive impact on the tournament. 2 wonderful all-round performances, 1 in the winning calls and 1 in the losing calls. Averaged 9 with the ball, 14 wickets in 4 matches. Can you imagine how many wickets he would have got had he played all the games? And 92 runs in 3 innings with 1 not out, an average of 46. Definitely a plus point in this World Cup. Dennis Lillee, joint leading wicket taker with 19 wickets in 8 matches, an average 14 with the bat. He averaged 14 with a ball, sorry. He had 42 with a bat, 3 not outs. Definitely he was a positive in this World Cup. Dennis Amiss of England, 322 runs in 7 matches, an average of 53, which included 200s. Definitely a plus sign in this tournament. John Snow, 9 wickets in 6 matches, an average of 19 with the ball. He took 4 wickets against Kenya. I'd say he was a little bit disappointed in this World Cup, but, you know, there is room for improvement there for John Snow. Farouk Engineer, 138 runs in 4 innings, an average of 46, which included 150 and a 40, I believe. He can look back on his World Cup with really, really good vibes. He's had an okay tournament. His wicket-keeping was very good as well. Abid Ali, 11 wickets in 6 matches, an average of 19 and 33 with a bat. He's had a very, very good tournament. He got that 50 against New Zealand. Player of the tournament, Glenn Turner, 539 runs with 300s and 150 in 7 matches, an average of 134. Comfortably player of the tournament. The only batsman to score 500 runs and in a bowler-friendly tournament. Superb. Dale Hadley, wonderful tournament. 17 wickets in 7 matches at an average of 14. He averaged 29 with a bat, mainly due to his 2 not outs. Definitely a positive sign. So yeah, Abbas, 245 runs in 6 matches, an average of 40. He did better than what I anticipated, but after he got his 97 in the opening match against United, how much he struggled. I'd say a bit hit and miss, really. Didn't start off the tournament well, but Shabaz Nawaz, 10 wickets in 5 matches, an average of 21 and 12 with a bat. But, you know, I'd say improved, but probably room for improvement for Shabaz Nawaz. Sri Lanka's a batsman, trying to think who he is, was Michael Tazera, 150, and that was in the opening match against Australia. Averaged 26 in 6 matches at 132. I would say Sunil Wetwemi was the player of the tournament for Sri Lanka, but he got injured and wasn't included as a star player. Really has been sensational. Shomachara De Silva, 8 wickets in 6 matches, an average of 33, and averaged 19 with the bat, but he struggled in non-friendly conditions for him. He struggled in non-Sri Lankan conditions. He should be back in 4 years' time when Sri Lanka hosts the World Cup. I'd say he was disappointing at times, but Sri Lanka struggled after Sunil Wetwemi's injury. West Indies now, 273 runs, an average of 39 for Alvin Kiricharan. He got starts in the tournament, but only converted one. Only got 150 in his 8 games. It's an okay average, but not great. Clive Lloyd didn't have a good tournament. 116 runs in 5 innings at an average of 29 with only 150 in that match against Pakistan. 6 wickets in 6 matches, though. He ends up with a better bowling average than he did with a batting average, so he'll be disappointed with that, but he captained his team wonderfully well throughout this tournament. 19 wickets in 8 matches for Bernard Julien, joint leading wicket taker, averaged 14 with the ball, averaged 45 with a bat, mainly due to 2 not outs, 90 runs in 4 matches. 15 wickets for Keith Boyce in 8 matches, an average of 18, 1 not out, 46 runs in 3 innings, 23 average with a bat. And Andy Roberts, 13 wickets in 8 matches, average 19, 1 not out, which was against, in that epic match against Pakistan where he hit the winning runs. So all the West Indies batsmen, West Indies batsmen was sort of miss. The 2 key batsmen, Alvin Kiricharan and Clive Lloyd, were a bit missed, but obviously their bowlers all outstanding, and Van Bernholder has to be included in that as well. And a special mention to Max Walker, who took 16 wickets in the tournament. So that's it. The West Indies and Clive Lloyd lift this World Cup to a delight round everywhere at Lords. The West Indies are the first ever winners of a Cricket World Cup. Can I just say, on behalf of myself and all the team on Brian Lara Cricket on PlayStation, thank you for following these match reports. They've been absolutely a joy. It's been a terrific World Cup. We'll see you in Sri Lanka in 4 years' time for the 2nd Cricket World Cup, where it's being played in the subcontinent. But for now, the West Indies are the first ever winners of the Cricket World Cup. For me, Lawrence Howard, and all the team here on Brian Lara Cricket on PlayStation, it's a goodbye from me. Bye-bye.